We have story time today, guys, so make sure you listen to the whole story. It's a good one. I hope you find this information helpful, and we'll get right at it. Hey guys, I'm James Dean, team leader of the James D Mountain Homes team. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Just really quick before we get into the meat of this video, I just wanted to make sure if you haven't done so already, hit that subscription button down below, hit that notification bell. That keeps you updated on all the new videos that we have coming out weekly. We've got several that come out each week on this channel, so please stay up to date with that. Also, if you've got any questions whatsoever that are real estate related or just in the community, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and give us a call. You can either call us at 719-266-2725. You can text us to that number as well, or you can email us at info@jdmret.net. Please, whatever you got to do to get those questions to us, please ask. We're here to help. We're here to provide value to you and helping you make informed decisions, whether you're looking to buy or sell real estate or just typical questions for the community out here. We are local experts in this area and we love this area. So please reach out to us, and we hope you guys enjoy this video. Okay, so now we got a transaction story, and I'm leaving names out of it for continuity and to make sure I don't get into trouble with this stuff. But I just wanted to share a quick story with you guys, why it's super important to have an agent that is experienced and has had tons of consistency in an area, and that's who you want to use to represent you both on the seller side and the buyer side. So I've had buyers recently, well, we'll just say within the last year, out here that were out and they're looking to buy up here in the mountains of Colorado. And through that process, we went through several places, several homes. One home popped up in particular, and it was kind of interesting because the first thought I had was, wow, that home seems a little underpriced. It's been on the market for a while, so I wonder if there's something going on with it, which is what a lot of people were probably thinking when they saw this. Well, we scheduled the showing, went into the house, and lo and behold, it was a beautiful home priced well below what it should have been priced at to sell. And it just, we couldn't get it. We couldn't figure out why or what was going on. Well, talked with the agent, and it seemed like some weird things that happened. So this is just kind of going through the whole synopsis of the story. But the agent told us that basically they were kind of racing the market with a current neighbor that had a house for sale, and that neighbor was very motivated to sell. And when that happened, that caused them to feel like they needed to kind of beat that price point. Now, this is all stuff that could definitely happen depending on the motivation of you if you're a seller out there and what you're looking at doing. I mean, these are things that are not within anybody's realm of control. But what I wanted to bring up is they also talked about having an appraiser come out and take a look at the place. So they got an appraiser. So appraisers, you can do that absolutely. Sometimes it's hard to find things to comp, but this is an area that there's tons of things to be able to comp with very easily to find the value of the house. I was able to understand what the value of the house was, and it was worth easily about $50,000 more than what they had it listed at on there without being an appraiser, because I'm an agent that works in this area and knows and understands the value of these homes up here. And so they had an appraiser come through, which gave some false expectations, I think, to the seller as well. And then the house set. Now, it also hit some really bad marketing timelines in the sense of what was going on with interest rates getting higher and getting into certain parts of the season that weren't traditional on there. But this is something too, once again, whereas the seller, it depends on what their motivations are. If they're just trying to get out of the house, then yeah, we're trying to find a price point in order to help the house sell. But when you're in one of these unique situations, they literally could have waited probably another 6 months and sold it for $50,000 over what they did. So that was the first thing that kind of came to mind. A couple other things kind of happened. So it became very apparent very quickly that the other agent had no idea what they were doing up here as far as who they needed to get for any kind of vendors to help with stuff, taking care of the septic or other items like that. And at one point, literally sent a list of things that were excavators that were out here for septic pumping. And I told them, I said, look, these are not folks you want to pump your septic and inspect it up here. These are folks that build septic systems. And sometimes those are the same, but the list I saw was just excavators. None of the normal people were up here. Because up here in Teller County, we don't require before a house changes hands for that septic to be pumped and inspected like every other county that surrounds us. Every other county that surrounds us has that rule within their health department. It has to happen. If that property changes hands, it is going to be pumped and inspected. And that is sent through the health department. It's actually, they've got a list of approved vendors or approved contractors that are licensed and insured that can take care of that. And they have to be on that list. Teller County doesn't have that. So there was another instance, and I'm just like, man, what? This is kind of odd on here, and caused me to start kind of doing some digging. And the agent had tons of experience way in the past, but it looked like they didn't have a whole lot of experience recently. And they lost a lot of that consistency, and they lost, I think, a lot of confidence in what was happening within the market here locally and immediately as well. So something to watch out for. So we get under contract and we start going through things. And interesting things continue to kind of happen and pop up. We did an inspection like we normally do. We could not inspect the roof because there was snow on it with the inspector. So we did what we typically do. We're just requested to have actual licensed contracted roofer come out there and certify it and say, hey, this roof is in good condition, or no, it's not, it needs to be replaced. Simply asking for that small thing on there. Now, my folks would have been fully willing to extend, but they didn't know that, but they also never asked on the resolution. We could have easily extended the resolution deadline, and the seller would have protected themselves because they would have at least known what they were committing to before signing a resolution and sent off. Well, they signed a resolution stating they'll have the roof certified. Guess what happened the next week? The roofer gets out there, hops on the roof, does this thing, comes back and says, we're not certifying this. This roof needs to be replaced. Well, inspection resolutions carry past the closing. So those are something that will carry past closing contractually. If somebody has frauded something or said they did something and didn't do it, those carry past the actual closing. So it's something that the buyer can legally go back on the seller for. And the listing agent at least knew this and knew that they were pretty much trapped. So without knowing that he was basically stating, I'm going to buy a $15,000 roof, when he signed that resolution, that's exactly what he said. Now, if I was on the selling side on that, I would have been advising my client, hey, let me fill out the buyer's agent. Let me see if they're willing to extend so we can make sure we get all this done so that you know exactly what you're getting into on it. And the outcome might have been you taking care of that and doing that at that point in time. However, it might not have been too. Maybe you didn't have the money to do that. Maybe that would have cut too deeply into what we're doing. We could start negotiating past that. I actually had something similar happen when I was on the selling side recently as well. And on that side, we negotiated through that entire process until both sides knew exactly what they were doing before we signed and made any decisions on any of this stuff. So literally 2 transactions that closed within just a couple weeks of each other, completely different scenarios, completely different sides on this as well. And for my seller on that side, they only ended up paying half of what that quoted price was. They didn't have to take care of the roof. They didn't have to do anything with it. Well, now the seller's scrambling. They're trying to see if insurance will cover it, which they didn't. And in essence, what ended up happening was my buyers got a $15,000 roof with absolutely losing nothing on the original offer on there, which was huge for them. So now they got a brand new roof. So if you want to talk about value and what a realtor can bring value-wise, an experienced realtor can absolutely bring you the value that will pay their commission easily on both sides. And I'm super happy for my buyers. It is sad to see some of that stuff happen sometimes when it happens to a seller, but I'm not representing the seller. They have their own professional representation. Just make sure you're vetting and you're doing things, and you should be getting advised, as a client on what the different outcomes, repercussions could be on there, and asking questions. If you're not comfortable with something, then ask questions. Now, I'm going to caveat all this too with, we don't know what was going on the seller side and as into what he needed to have done. And it might have been him that was forcing all this stuff. It absolutely could have been. All we can do is make interpretations based on what we saw kind of go through that process. And it was fascinating to watch on the buyer side. And this is not the type of thing that we want to see anybody have happen. We want to see win-win on both sides for sure. But you can only do so much when you're in charge of one side. There's just so much you can do. But I just wanted to kind of share that story out there, why it's important to have a local expert that's very competent in what they're doing on your side to make sure that you are spending your money wisely, or you are selling your house wisely, and you're going to get the maximum return on that. So I hope you guys found this little story a little helpful. It's an interesting story, but we see things like this happen quite a bit. And it's just one of those things, you know, you got to make sure your realtor's experienced and they know what they're doing in that area, and they're not out there dragging you through mud that you had no idea you didn't have to go through. So hope you guys found this interesting and informative. Guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that video. And once again, before you sign off, make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell down below. That will keep you updated on all the new videos that we have come out that are here to inform you and help keep you updated on what's happening here, both in the community and in real estate as well. And once again, too, if you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to give us a call, 719-266-2725. You can text us at that number as well, or you can email us at info@jdmret.net, and we will get back to you as quickly as possible to answer all of those questions. We're here to serve you, and we look forward to helping you soon.